it's better say in English. Although my English is also very standard, very limited, but I will try my best because over past 8 to 9 years, so I never use English, so forgotten everything. But I try best now. Okay? Okay. 사지쇼다 소지쇼 남나 장주 바도 다네 접수지 다기 진소 집에 손남자 로라 페이지 상지연 주버쇼 심지연 탐제 대화단 대외주단 데마 동아단 동아진 주단 저와 주지 동아매배 대화 탐바다 면저와 니린샤단 이단 저와 땅좀 첨보다 내봐 주로지. 오케이. Buddhism. Everybody talks Buddhism, and the Tibetan call it Namba Sangjepa. This is nothing to do with the religion. Philosophical way of explanation is given. Many people do believe that Buddhism is one of the religions. So religion in the sense of like we are worshipping God, worshipping something. So from this perspective, and religion is very much Buddhism is very much religious. So people visit temple, pay respect and make offerings, and they think that if I do prostration and if I do supplication, if I do prayer in front of a temple, in front of images of the Buddha, then I get something. So this is not pure, because you are looking for something else, which is the benefit. I respect you, I pay you respect, and I do prostration to you, and I supplicate to you, and you must give me blessing or the power. That's something. But then the blessing, sense of a blessing and the sense of a power is not for a spiritual aspect. It's very much like a mundane, worldly benefit, something for your longevity, for your good health, for good profit, good business, so very much related to the sense of this life. Buddhism emphasizes very much on the spiritual path, which is we are defining the suffering of the life and the cause of the suffering of the life, and that we should realize and train our mind, and then subdue our ego clinging, subdue our mental disturbing emotions, right? And then develop or generate compassion, loving kindness, good heart towards all sentient beings, and dispel or avoid the partiality, saying that this is my friend, this is my relative, and these are the strangers, and these are my enemies. So there are so many partialities among the community, among the society. So Buddha has seen these are the prime cause of our suffering of the life, both physical problem and a mental problem. So nobody wishes to have a suffering or pain or miseries, right? So everybody is trying to dispel it, to get rid of these underlying powerful negative emotions. When I say underlying, because it's very invisible for us, because we feel and we experience the sufferings and the pains and the miseries, yet we are very much ignorant how to, and also very unskillful how to avoid or to get rid of these powerful sicknesses physically and the mental disturbances and unwanted situations around within the family, within the individuals. So we feel these are the unpleasant situations, but we don't know how to get rid of. Right? We tend to get rid of them with all kinds of methods. Like when you're sick, get help from the doctors, hospitals. When you have mental disturbances, try to tend to get rid of through the psychologist or psychiatrist. You approach them and they get all kinds of instructions. But then still problem is remain there. Don't know how to solve this. Ultimately, Temporarily, yes, you can manage that, but ultimately you are unable to get rid of them because the root of suffering is still there. You just subdue the power of sicknesses. You just subdued the power of your mental clinging and the disturbances. So Buddha has awakened his mind. Why Buddha is so great? Not because of the image, not because of his form, not because of his life story alone. His life story is something very different from all other individuals in the sense of how do he generate awakening mind? How did he generate compassion? How did he generate or discover the loving kindness and the wisdom? It's not really generated. We can generate, but we are lack of discovery. So Buddhism is very much based on the view of the discovery of the true nature of the inner reality and external reality. So here what I'm trying to generalize in the teaching of the Buddha is only mind training. The divisions of the schools, let's say the Theravada school, Mahayana school, Vajrayana school, there are many subdivisions within the sense of the Buddhism, the mechanism. So what I'm trying to reveal here is that we should understand, because each and every temple you visit, you can see they chant different, they pray different, right? They perform the ceremonies a different way. So it doesn't mean Buddhism has those different subdivisions. Okay, so these are just a tradition. It's not really Buddhism. Buddhism is something beyond the theory, beyond the normal conception or concept, or beyond different views, different meditations, different the intellectual understanding. So what we need to know is the origin of the samsara. So origin of the suffering and the origin of the miseries, which is our ego. So this defined by Theravada. This one is defined by Mahayana. This one is defined by the Vajrayana. Methods, skills, antidotes are different, but the aim is one only. We all blame on the ego. We never blame on the individuals. We never blame on the disturbing minded or disturbing emotions. Just simply blame our underlying powerful egoistic attitude. Yeah. So ego is something always there. Because of the ego is the fundamental, source of all other sufferings, like all progressive suffering, suffering of the suffering, and suffering of the change. This is very much a simple theory, described by the Buddhism. So chanting mantra is for dispelling ego. Going circumambulation, kora, is also for the sake of getting rid of this powerful ego. Okay, even just light up the lamps in the temple or in the holy places is only one purpose, to dispel or to get rid of this powerful ego. So every single practice you apply must not forget the purpose of doing every activity of the physical activity or verbal activity, mental activity, in the sense of a spiritual practice. All have one purpose, single purpose, that is to get rid of this powerful ego, right? So in order to getting rid of this powerful is not simple, also very difficult. Therefore, processes, systematic way of the Buddhism approaching into the practice, which begins first the refuge. So that's why we take refuge. Taking refuge in the Lama, taking refuge in the Buddha, taking refuge in the Dhamma, taking refuge in the Sangha. Why they are so important? Because they are the object of our refuge. Buddha has awakened the mind, and the Dhamma is his speech, the true of speech, true speech. What I mean true is because the teaching is from his experience. Nowadays, you can see in the YouTube everywhere, there are so many teachings, this teaching, that teaching, most of their own, from their own intellectual understanding, or maybe their own little bit of experience, a more intellectual base. So therefore, can be true, can be untrue, can be reliable, can be unreliable. So this is a very uncertain circumstance. But Buddha, the teaching from his experience is undeniable. And it's always a true, essential. Touch our heart, wakes our mind. Touch our heart, realize many things. And touch our heart, his teaching, and discover many things, right? So therefore, taking refuge in Buddha is the reality. Taking refuge in Dhamma is his speech. So this is very much a reality. And the Sangha is the supporter, who support your practice and then instruct you how to bring the circumstances onto the path and bring into your practice. So this is the Sangha. So they are the object of your refuge. So therefore, from the right moment of your awakening in the morning from your sleep, then put your own mind into the refuge of the Buddha, of the Dhamma, of the Sangha. Okay? So this is very important. That's why you take refuge. Taking refuge is not only ceremony. It is something that you are making profound or tremendous profound connectivity towards the three jewels, because you get blessings, the blessings of the ultimate blessings. In the sense of ultimate, what I mean here is because these methods, these teachings, upon the receiving, then gross and the subtle of the negative emotions and the negative, the inkling mental, dualistic mental attitude will be subdued. Once subdued these powerful the dualistic mental attitude, then you have a capacity, or making available the capacity or reveal the capacity to generate compassion, loving kindness, all this so-called the virtuous action, the virtuous action of the body, speech, mind. Okay? So therefore, it's not only ceremony. Taking refuge is not only ceremony, but something rather than ceremony. You are making very much profound connected towards the reality object. So this is we call taking refuge ceremony. Not only this, do you believe, or do you say that's it, or is this enough? No. Then after that, your capacity of the mental attitude developing along with the path, along with the practice, then you are able to generate bodhicitta. The bodhicitta is the mind of enlightenment. Right? So basically our mind is enlightened already, basically. But the lack of the training of the mind, so therefore we are not enlightened as yet. So we need to proceed towards the many paths, because of our habitual tendency is so deep and so rooted on the ground of this samsara. So need to uproot this. To be uproot, we need to train our mind. Physical training is not so important. The verbal training is not so important, but mental training is more essential rather than the physical and the verbal training or the exercise. Okay? So therefore, generating bodhicitta is the second. Taking refuge is the first step. And then second important step is the generating bodhicitta. overall, day to day, our life, we are eating, we are sleeping, we are working, we are dealing with the situation, we are talking to people, right? So all kinds of activities we need it for the purpose of life, surviving, right? So we need it for the survival. So we need it. But in the sense of to make ourselves a better life, make ourselves a better individual, how to do that? So these qualities need to be discovered, need to be generated, right? And always work with your own mind rather than the external situation. External situation, you cannot make it better because they are there. So you cannot run away from them. Let's say, okay, family life is a headache, so I want to run away somewhere. But your ego is along with you, so always make you trouble, one after another. So therefore, there's no freedom. Freedom is from the awakening mind. So it's something skill that you make within, not outside. Okay? So therefore, what I'm trying to explain to you here is I'm not explaining about the Four Noble Truths, and I'm not talking about the numbers of the practices, how to apply in the day-to-day life. I'm here simplifying and generalizing the basic understanding or basic important point of the Buddhism. Although there are Theravadas and Mahayanas, Vajrayanas, they explain all kinds of things, but which we are not able to apply them in one time, right? So overall, when your mind put into the refuge of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, so always think that now my life is different than before. So I have to be very careful with my attitude of the body, attitude of the mind, attitude of the speech. So you are starting changing your attitude of the body, speech, mind, which means you are trying to getting rid of the unvirtuous actions, right? So physically, simply physically fighting, and violent actions towards individuals. And verbally using harsh words, and insulting accusations, all verbal actions try to subdue now. And mentally, anger, aggressions, and those powerful negative, thoughts try to subdue. So this is a starting, very much essential starting of your practice of the Buddhism. So what do you understand from this point is, okay, now Buddhism is very much a training of your mind alone. Ceremony of like making offerings or doing prostrations or going circumambulations are just a part of it. It's not reality. Okay, so if you think these are the important part of the Buddhism, it's no. Most important part of Buddhism is training your mind. Always, day to day, right? Hour to hour, minute to minute, a day and a night, always we consider how to change our mind and how to change our basic mental attitude, how to work with our negative emotions. We are not able to combat those powerful ego and negative emotions rather than dealing with them. This is the most skillful way of getting rid of this powerful ego, okay? There's no powerful chant to disorder or to dispel our ego, but always be mindful, always being alert, always being cautious along with your everyday attitude. Then you can see the blessing. Upon the changing of your mind attitude, then you can receive or perceive, and you can feel the blessing of the Buddha. Otherwise, you keep chanting and keep praying, but you cannot get the blessing. Okay, doesn't mean the Buddha has a partial attitude, but because of there is a sense that connecting towards Buddha and the Dhamma Sangha, which is through only the the pure perception and the pure attitude and the virtuous action alone. So this is the most important. So is it clear? Clear, right? Okay. It's not only communication between you and me, right? So it's not only introduction. It is something that I'm reminding you, because I believe that you all know very well, because you read the books, right? Nowadays you can read from the Facebook or YouTube. There are so many teachings. I'm sure you know all of these, but reminding is very important, because we are very forgetful. Myself also a very forgetful person also, but so I need to read the books and the text, keep reminding myself, because we all engage or indulge many unvirtuous actions, knowingly, unknowingly. So this is not only excuse, but it's something that we need to be very urgent to change or to adopt or to remind or to reveal something. So that is my own responsibility and your own responsibility. So if you don't work yourself, nobody can help you. Even the Buddha says, if you don't listen his speech, then he can't help you, right? So this is what we call path, or the method, or the practice, or the Dharma. It's not something powerful blessing as we are looking. Of course, for the longevity, for the good health, there are many sources of benefit that you can apply. But the Dharma is the only source or the benefit if you apply to get rid of these underlying powerful negative emotions. So these are the only one who makes you unpleasant, who makes you misery, who makes you miserable, who makes you miserable, and who makes you the unceasing, this powerful, the sufferings from life to life, generation to generation, right? So it's so powerful. It's very difficult to seize it. So the cessation of the suffering come from the mind training and applying those important methods timelessly. Okay, I will put it this way, timelessly. Timelessly means not morning, not afternoon, and not evening. So whenever you are having problem, so you apply it. So this is a timelessly we are applying. So never make sessions. Say sessions, that morning session, afternoon session, evening session, but this will not help you. So whenever you are facing problem or difficulties, or tragic situation, then you apply it. So apply what? Not chanting mantra, but reminding yourself. Reminding yourself, yes. Nobody will remind you. I'm sure nobody can. If you don't remind yourself, then nobody. So therefore, mindfulness, cautiousness, alertness are the key point in the sense of application of Buddha Dharma. Okay? So these are very important. So based on these three important points, then you can generate the bodhicitta. Then from day to day, you will experience how important and how essential and how beneficial. Okay? So therefore, what I'm trying to put all together here is Buddha Dharma is something that you train your mind timelessly. Okay, so regardless whether you are with a bad situation or good situation, right? So these are equal. We always expect good situation, right? So we try to, or we tend to avoid or get rid of this unpleasant situation. But that's very difficult. If you accept both equally, then problem is solved. Yes. The why problem is there? Because you expect good. You never want a bad. So this means you are unable to accept it equally. So the situation always make you restless. So in order to get out of this restlessness, then one should accept everything. Let's say, okay, tomorrow, anything can be happened. Or afternoon, anything can be happened. Within the family, within the society, good and bad always come together, right? So why we could make a partial, this two? So you cannot be partial. So situation is always there, one after another, good and the bad, right and the wrong, and then we call this as a interdependent origination. Interdependent origination to rely on everything, each and the other, right? So therefore, if you accept these as an interdependent origination, then you are, the freedom is started. Freedom is started, right? So there's no tense, no anxiety, no tension. So tension and anxiety come from expectation. So we expect something, good things, and we fear to the wrong thing. So you are very much in between. There is a big gap between the right and the wrong. So you trap inside. So get out of this trap. Then one should accept everything as it is. Let it come, let it go, right? So don't hold on to it firmly. So if you relax it with the sense of your understanding, then you are free, okay? But expectation is sometimes we need expectation because enlightenment, right? So when you look at the Buddha, so, oh, you are so perfect. Can I be like you? Yes, you can be like that, right? You can be like Buddha. This is a good expectation. But what I'm here is the expectation that causes you are unpleasant, which is like everyday life. You are too much expect, right? So too much expect. Then when your expectation is, when your expectation fails, then you are in the state of misery, anxiety, right? Then anxiety, tension, depression, all comes one after another because your initial expectation is failed. So therefore, less expectation, but more exercise of the body, of the mind, of the speech. Good one, a virtuous one, then very good. Then it brings a harmony in the family, right? And then everybody is very happy to each other. Everybody is so satisfied with each and every situation. Then, although there is a physical sickness, you always show your smile. Although there is a mental tension or disturbances or disorder, something, whatever, but you say nice things and everybody can see your smile because it's something you change it, isn't it? It's the significance of how beautiful if you are able to change your life. Okay? So, as a family, always united, right? To love each other, care for each other. If there is a slight something wrong, but you understand to each other and then try to solve together. You never blame to each other, say that, oh, this is your fault. Why should I solve this problem? This is your problem, so you should solve. It's not like that. All hands come together, walk together, open your heart, be straightforward to the situation, then you touch the ground, right? So once you touch the ground, the problem is solved simultaneously. Okay, so open-minded is the basic practice of the Buddhism. From there you started devotion, compassion, love and kindness, all this is a virtuous action of the mind. So if you tightened your mind, never open to each other, if you are unable to open your mind to the family, then how could you open the mind to all sentient beings? This is just an empty word. So to benefit all sentient beings, one should open your mind completely and be straightforward, precisely, and each and every action you do, so then people can see the reality of your true essence, right? So therefore, you collapse the boundary of your inner quality and the external quality. So people can see you, the perfectness, and you can experience the perfectness. So therefore, there's no gap. Now gap is collapsed, right? So this kind of a training is very important to build it from day to day life, not only 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month, okay? So every day, therefore, reminding yourself with the mindfulness is very important. And never argue to each other. Never argue. Because arguing is not good, right? Heat up. Then you fall sick. Again, because of the argue. So argument brings problem one after another. If you solve the problem with the understanding to each other, you can think that everybody makes mistake until you're fully enlightened. Nobody is perfect, right? So we make lots of mistakes, but from the mistakes we learn our good things also. So everything is a lesson for in our life. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is to be blamed. So if you accept everything as it is, then everything is a book. So book gives you chapters. Book gives you lessons. Lessons of the good and the bad, everything. So therefore, the situation, the daily life, if you open your mind and look at the straightforward there, then accept as it is, then you'll be very happy every day. Although there are bad situations around and the problems in the family, you all make mistakes, but somehow that you, the feeling of a blissfulness is always there. Okay? So this is the basic of the Buddhism. You don't need to go one by one. Theory, understanding, debate. Okay, so you don't need to go through. So just change your attitude. Then you are perfect. We don't need to say are you Buddhist or no? Are you Hinduist or are you Christian or whatever? So religion is nothing. Religion is nothing. If you want to open your mind, awaken your mind, so you are far beyond the religion. Okay, this is how Buddha says. Don't just make yourself a trap in the religion. Okay, so religion is nothing. Religion is nothing. Worshipping Buddha, worshipping God, Shiva or whatever, because the ego is still there. So you cannot make connection with them. They can't change you. They can't correct you. Yeah? So we correct ourselves and open the mind. Be nice. Be a perfect person. And that's it.